Hello everybody and welcome to the Hub Podcast. So today we're going to do a massive 100 videos. Spectacular! And oh my god, what the hell's happening? I feel weird. Oh god, what's happening? Oh no. Whoa, what the hell happened? Oh my god. This is my face. Today, the Hub Podcast is back. And this time, I'm doing a 100 videos, as you can probably see, this is a 100th video, celebration, spectacular, retrospective, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to go straight through, make this probably the longest video I've ever done ever. So hopefully it's going to be a long video, and we're going to go in and talk about stuff. So this is the Hub Podcast 100 video spectacular. And firstly, before we get started with all the celebration that I know is about to ensue, especially in the comments below, and whenever you can communicate with me, I'm definitely going to make sure that this is a great video and that you're very entertained and you like this video. I'm not even looking at the camera right now. I know I should be, but this is going to be a good video. This is guaranteed to be funny and good. I'm going to do all the stuff that you like from the Hood Podcast. I might rant a bit, I might do reviews, I might do all of that, but main focus of the video is the fact that I have reached 100 videos. And on this day, a special day, June 10th, 2015, I have reached the mark, the milestone. That is pretty much, you're all watching this, so I guess I have to do something cool and special and whatever, and this is going to take ages to process this one video. But let's not think about that, let's not dwell on the future or what it has to hold, because it's time to get into this video. And before I start, I would like to thank all of the people who have subscribed to me. I'm going to go do another channel update. Since my 7th podcast, which is my last podcast, which is a whole while back in May, I believe, or April even, end of April, and it's now June. I wanted to make my video up a while back, but no, we're finally around to getting it up to today, or tomorrow, whenever. I'm going to probably upload it tomorrow. So June 11th probably up. But definitely, I need to tell you that my channel has not really exploded, but it's gone up. It's gone up. You know, it's slowly rising. I'm gonna go check on my subscriber count at the moment, if that's all right. So we're just gonna go straight over to that. Right around now. This is just a way to get started into my podcast. I'm gonna start off with these all the time, where I do my channel updates. So I can go through and say, well, look at this podcast, look at this podcast, and basically see how it's evolved over time and see how that happens and all the things that have changed on my YouTube channel from time to time. Currently I have a whopping 6,091 views. That's a big improvement over last time. That's a few thousand more than last time. I'm going to talk about, I have 24 subscribers, so yes. Stay tuned for the very end where I'm going to do a shout outs, some look at the comments that I've gotten recently, and all that sort of stuff to do with that. But first, I'm going to talk about my analytics over the past while. So since my last video, I have made a few more videos, which include my NXT reviews that have evolved into what I have now, being the Wrestle Talk videos, which I'm on my third one. I'm going on to my fourth one. I've done some Red Dwarf videos, announcement reaction, which got 61 views, my Avengers Age of Ultron review. I've done a review for Batman, the original, but that was before my sort of podcast that I've done. What else have I done since then? So I've done a few different Red Dwarf reviews. Remember, there is a big one coming soon. I did a little editing one. It's my first editing video, which is Remembering Red Dwarf Series 1. I recommend you go check that out. It's very short. It's a sweet 90-second video. Not like this video, but it's basically just a little montage of Series 1 I did in my free time one time. Obviously I changed my name to the Hub Critic. That was one of the big things I did. I'm going to explain why I did that pretty much in a second, but since then I've done Wrestle Talk videos, which have really liked those videos because they just allowed me to do a little 30-minute chunk of my wrestling talk for the week, or whatever it has to be, 2 weeks maybe. My Remembering Red Dwarf video is, I'm planning to go more into Red Dwarf soon, so that means I'm not going to focus too much on wrestling. It's going to be podcasts, it's going to be wrestling, and it's gonna be Red Dwarf. On terms of what I'm also was gonna talk about doing, my last one I was like, oh, I'm gonna focus on doing movie reviews and focusing on all of the sort of other stuff, the other side of YouTube, you know, vlogs, all that sort of stuff. That's a different side of things. You know, it's not like I'm gonna go from here to here instantly. I still have to stick with the stuff that I started off my YouTube channel with, or I feel like I need to. I feel like it's right, and just to do that. So I've decided, you know, I'm gonna do Red Dwarf and wrestling, okay, and then the podcast, the other third that sort of ties it all together. And this is definitely obviously 100. I've got to celebrate for this one, but yes, I also need to tell y'all that I'm doing big Red Dwarf edits. So I'm gonna take all the clips, right? I'm gonna make edited videos, and of course the first one was Remembering Red Dwarf Series 1 back then. I'm gonna do a new video for my Red Dwarf series of videos. It's gonna be proper full edited, my first ever full edited video with clips and all that, and it's been planned out pretty, you know, for a long time. I've been thinking about doing it for about a month now. I've seen other people do sorts of videos like this. Of course, you got this Nostalgia Critic, you got the Unusual Suspect, who I need to say has got some quality videos on there, which are basically real full edited views on movies. I'm going to do one on a TV show, and it's going to be a top 10, and this one is a top 10 worst episodes of Red Dwarf. I was going to explain something else in a second, but firstly I need to talk about this because it is big news. It means that on this channel I'm going to have a full edited video, which is hopefully going to get some views because it's top 10, you know. People like the top 10s. I've realised it over time. I've watched you know, Watch Mojo is one of the best for that. But they do full edits like that, you know, if you watch any of these videos where they do top 10s, they have, you know, a little bit of introduction, which I'm going to have a big introduction to Red Dwarf, me talk about it. I've already edited that bit, but I have to write the rest of it all, which is going to take a few weeks. I'm going on holidays, so won't be up before then probably, but you know, it's going to take a while to do that one. So in the meantime, I've got the Wrestle Talks which are coming up. You know, as I said beforehand, you know, I haven't talked about the Wrestle Talks yet. Yeah, I just started uploading those, and for those, I'm going to have those up basically every couple of a minimum about every 2 weeks. So they're good for just talking about pay-per-views and stuff and my feelings in wrestling, which I'm going to do a proper to look at in this video, just to, you know, wrap up what I've been talking about for the past number of weeks. So they're going to feature NXT reviews, you know, predictions for upcoming pay-per-views, pay-per-views from the past, and I'm going to review. I might even look back at old pay-per-views, a hint on that. But it's all going to be tied up in that 30-minute video, so it's not going to be too long, not too short. It's going to sum up everything I want to talk about wrestling that week or whatever, and I'm going to talk about stuff that, you know, needs to be talked about in my own personal view. What else was I going to talk about? Yes, so that Red Dwarf video, the top 10 worst episodes of Red Dwarf, that is a bit controversial, I know, but that one will be up soon. When I say soon, I don't mean soon now, like, I mean soon in a distance. But that one is going to be fully edited. It is going to feature a lot of in-depth look at all of these episodes, and also going to have some honorable mentions towards, obviously, from 2 to 1. They're going to be in between, that's going to be honorable mentions, which you see in those videos. So we're hoping to go watch all those episodes that I really think should be contenders for that, and then put them in order. And then you know that's boring stuff that has to be done. But I hope it's going to be a great video. I hope it's going to be one of the best videos I do. And this is to come in the meantime. So that is to come, right? And obviously the constants are going to be Wrestle Talk and the podcast. They're going to be the only two constants. In terms of like my off the cuff Red Dwarf reviews, yes, I enjoy doing those, but I think this is going to be even better. I think that I'm going to get even more to talk about in videos that, like, you're going to be unexpected of what I'm going to say about these episodes, because I feel like these upcoming Red Dwarf, these upcoming Red Dwarf, in the top 10 worst episodes, it's going to be like quick 3-minuters, but they're going to be completely scripted. The first time I'm ever doing this, it's going to be a big step for me, and I think I need to make this step because it's gonna get a lot of viewers, I feel. But I also feel that the viewers I have now are going to be impressed by what I'm doing at the moment. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing to think about, that I might be doing that. Which I'm certainly doing that. The top 10 worst episodes. And it's also, it's more, I'm going to think about it this way. It's going to be more focused than my normal Red Dwarf reviews. Such as, say, the Series 1 ones I did back then. The very first video was the first episode, the end, fittingly. But it's going to be like that. That was 12 minutes, right? So in this top 10, the full video is only going to be like 20 minutes long. So it means that each one is only going to have a 3 or 4 minute. So it's going to be a lot of just pointing out the things I had problems with. I suppose maybe just a review of the whole episode. So it's definitely going to focus in more on the very in details that really make me tick. And what I'm thinking about on the show, but I'm just going to get straight to it. In like completely opposite of what I'm doing with these podcasts, where I can just go on for an hour or two about whatever I need to talk about that week, that month, as it has to be, because these are the monthly podcasts. So they make a complete 360 turn. It's going to be a complete 180 turn, to those top 10s. But no, I haven't thought about doing any more top 10s after that. The thing is, the only one I can think of is obviously top 10 best episodes of Red Dwarf, which is going to be harder to do, because I know that the top 10, actually no, it's going to be pretty, similar, but they're going to take a long time to make. And of course, the hardest thing is choosing. Once you've got the chosen down, I can singular in on those episodes, and then put them in order, and then, yeah, that's going to be a fun one to watch. But no, please believe, I do, if you're a fan of Red Dwarf, which I know some people are, that watch this, yeah, I do love all of the episodes. I mean, there's not one that I didn't find something that made me stay for that episode. Okay, maybe like one. Maybe maybe my number one worst episode of Red Dwarf is completely horrible, and I hate it so much, I can't even look at it. Or maybe 2, or maybe 3, but, everything else, it's just, I'm going to basically touch on that in my top 10 worst. At the very beginning, I'm talking about how I love all of the episodes, and that's the thing that people need to understand. And I guess if you're, a good fan who can understand that, you'll think, okay, yeah, I see where you're going here, and I see what you mean, not what you want me to mean, or what you think I mean. You have to actually understand that there's a difference there. So, wow, that was a big rant. I really don't want to make this too long, the update bit, because I want to get into the actual other stuff that's important. Obviously 100. So I'm going to go right into that now. So, big day, cool, shout out to the end of the video. That's where I'm going to go and circle back onto the updates. But okay, what you came here for basically is my 100 spectacular. Now I've made 100 videos, right? I've made 99. This is my 100th video. I've made a lot of videos, right? So I'm gonna go circling back to the very beginning and talk through pretty much the history right now of my channel and all the videos I made, pre-history, even pre-channel, and then I'm gonna go best, worst, and all that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna basically begin and say, okay, so actually no, I forgot to say one thing about my channel name. How about I get to that after the other stuff? Okay, so we want to go from the start, right? TV Hub Official 1. Okay, so before the channel I started doing it, of course, I had this channel on I had another channel on YouTube, I think. I've had a few other channels. Yeah, so there's a lot of other stuff I have to talk about. Oh god, I just backtracked there. But really, for this, I sort of started thinking about names for channels once I got on the idea or the train of, okay, I'm making a channel now. That was back, of course, in my starting date was October 26, 2014. So before that, I was like, okay, I think I want to start making videos on YouTube. I've seen other people do it. I'm really inspired to do it myself, and I was feeling like I could attract some people to do this. And it's sort of the ironic thing that in the process of wanting to make videos, I also want to get the fans, and that's sort of the thing that when you start making videos, you start realizing, and then you start making more videos, and you grow into a mindset that maybe when you started a channel you didn't think the same way as when you are at the moment. That doesn't make much sense, but what I'm trying to say is your perspective changes on making videos as you make them. So at the beginning you're thinking, oh, this will be fun, but it does take a degree of work to actually keep on doing it. If you have ever made YouTube videos once, I know a lot of people do, they just make a few videos and they stop, and they realize they've stopped, but they don't want to make videos anymore because they've lost the motivation. You got to keep up the motivation, you got to make it sort of consistent so that you're on the level where you don't drop off and then you can't get up again, because that's what happens. And so it's basically a metaphor for making videos. You've got to be, you've got to keep going. You can't just stop. but no, you can take breaks and all that. But anyway, the TV Hub Official one. I was like, what are my biggest influences on things that I love and things that I'm thinking about at the moment, and I just want to get my feelings out, or things that I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do some cool stuff, and I'm gonna make a really interesting videos, inspired of course by channels that I've known at the time. I think I wanted to make my videos a little funner than I actually ended up doing, which is I thought, okay, which I'm doing at the moment is the top 10 worst after Red Dwarf. That was the sort of thing I was hoping to do at the beginning, but I realized I can't because, well, I can, but I thought, okay, what if I don't do those because they're going to take too much work? And at the start I was like, I'm not going to do that much work, I've already started this channel. So I was like, okay, how am I going to do this that will make it easier for no editing? How about I get a number of pictures from the episode, right? And just put them out there, and then I talk about the episode. So that's what I did for series 1. And that was all the beginning, and I actually the way I started with, I would actually write down in a copybook everything I needed to talk about in that episode. So I would have, say, every bit of funny moment or anything that we're going to talk about from that episode, and then I would just list it down, and then I would talk about all the moments that happened, and I would go in, and so my first episode, I really was getting a lot of thoughts about what I thought of all of Red Dwarf, from the beginning, how it all started, that interesting stuff about that, and then I started talking about that, and then as I went into the video, I just talked with the background of the pictures moving along, so picture, and then it's my audio, and then I get into the video, and you can sort of see a story coming along because it's all chronological pictures. But that was a weird way of doing it, which I actually did in the future for like Malcolm in the Middle and stuff like that. But no, I started off, that was my biggest influence, I say still is, that I make this channel, is talking about that one TV show, Red Dwarf. Obviously go check that out if you haven't already. Why am I pointing here? There's nothing there. Leave a link to the episode. No, but that was the biggest thing for me. So I watched all of series 1. I did my whole trail through that series. It made me think that I really only focus on the first few series. I never really look at the future series, which I haven't even done yet. I'm still looking at those first 3, which really inspired me the most. I started watching from those episodes, and then went back on those ones the most. I've watched those the most, so they're the most interesting to me. But of course I have to go and watch the future episodes for my top 10 worst episodes. But that's all to come in the future, of course. Now really, what else? No. So yeah, Red Dwarf. Of course, when I went through those episodes, I actually really appreciated the Red Dwarf series 1 even more. And so I watched all the episodes. Each time I did my episode, I had my copybook, written review of that one, and then quickly I went up, I got my pictures sorted out, I screenshotted pictures from the episode, so amateur of me, and I pasted them onto Movie Maker like I'm doing right now, and then I decided, okay, I'll talk about it. So I did episode 1, the end, episode 2, which was that Future Echoes, brilliant episode. Episode 3 was like Balance Power, then God, Waiting for God, and then Me Squared and Confidence Paranoia. All of the episodes that I had watched and thought were brilliant, but some of them I sort of downplayed what I thought of them after that. But I really didn't go too much in detail on that. But the fun episodes for me, I realised when I did that series, and I learned from that, were the ones that weren't great, but I just sort of critiqued them. So that means, and that actually sort of led on to what I think of doing the top 10 worst episodes, which I'm going to do. and I'm in the process of doing at this very moment. But I realised that critiquing them and talking about the sort of stuff that didn't work is more helpful than just talking about, oh, I love this episode, or oh, what happened in the episode. You know, that's not helpful really, or it does. No one learns from that. That's why I watch like Nostalgia Critic and stuff. I don't want to, you know, exactly hear when he's talking about the thing that I've already seen, you know, and just repeat what I've seen. But you know, as well as that, you gotta basically talk about a lot of what was wrong, what can be improved. And so the worst episode, which are like Waiting for God, you know, I really got into talking about the bad stuff in that episode, and that was fun. You can go watch all those on my channel. I have left them in a playlist there with three other episodes. I know there's 9 episodes in that playlist because I've done 9 reviews, and the last 3 are ones that I enjoy, and they're from the earlier seasons as well. So I really haven't gone into the later seasons as much, have I? No. So we had episode 1, episode 2. My third video, funnily enough, wasn't even a Red Dwarf, because at the time, obviously, I was thinking of WWE as well. So there, and I still do, obviously. So my third episode was WWE NXT. In fact, the title of the video was WWE NXT Review 23rd 10/14. So it was the 23rd of October 2014, and this was a few days after. So the episode was a few days before I founded the channel, so I found that I quickly went on to doing this review. I can't remember exactly what made me start it. Obviously, that was actually probably the first episode of NXT I watched ever. I'd seen like, okay, maybe a year back, I've heard of this product called NXT that I formed back in 2012. It was a proper show, and I didn't realise what people were thinking of it. So I think I heard some news or saw reviews of the show, but I never really know what it was about. So I went over, okay, I'm gonna actually watch this show, and you know, give my own opinion and tell everybody what happened. So I did the same thing. I got the copybook out. I wrote about NXT review. I think I still have the copybook, which you can go check out. I said NXT review. I'm gonna go and look at that, and then that happened where I watched the episode and I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep watching these, because obviously chronological. WWE, it's the thing where you can never stop watching them because the story just goes on and on forever. So I actually have seen the debut of a few different wrestlers at the time. I'm like granddad of NXT, but it was only back in October, but it feels like a lifetime since then. But no, so I did every single consistent week. I was like, okay, I can do this. Pretty easy to watch, you know, the hour long. It got me interested, only seeing them was only an hour long, so I could definitely do those each week. And I was like, that's a realistic goal for me. I know I've missed a few weeks since then, which we're going to talk about, but I started doing my next reviews. I picked favourites, you know, favourite moments maybe. I gave it a mark, which I sort of stopped doing because that's kind of hard to do. I realised doing 10 out of 10s or whatever out of 10 is really hard to do and keep up. After that, I went on and... Okay, so yeah, the NXT review. My first one wasn't very good. I think they've all pretty much stayed in the same format. I did really bad pictures, which I need to improve on. I just put a picture again, and then I talked about it through that episode. So I went back to my Red Dwarf reviews. My 5th video was a WWE Hell in a Cell 2014 reaction and review. That episode was a hard one to do because I had to watch the whole pay-per-view. I just didn't really like it that much, the pay-per-view. I know I talked about how I liked it, but that one I had to talk about every single match, about 8 on the card, and my reaction was what sort it was. It wasn't really a review more, it was a reaction. It was, okay, I'm going to talk about Hell in a Cell, I'm going to talk about every match, and maybe give a slight comment on most of them. At the end, I think I did an overview, so that was good. That was, you know, professional of me. I might have done a mark, I'm not sure. Again, I haven't watched any of these videos since then. I might go, you know, once, every so often I might go back and watch an old episode and see, you know, what I thought of that thing, because it's fun to go back and even watch those things. Hell in a Cell reaction. That was a pay-per-view. One of the first I decided, okay, I'm going to start watching the pay-per-views, and that was a bit too much for me, because I actually stopped. So I did Hell in a Cell. I never did any pay-per-views after that year. I think I did like 1 or 2 more after those, which of course, that's the only pay-per-views I watched. That's literally it for me on the main roster of WWE. I always listen to the information, so I know I'm up to date on everything that goes on, the rumours, everything, you know, the characters, the championships, everything like that. but I never actually watch the things. And for me, the pay-per-views are just, they don't tell you anything. You know, Raws are the ones where they give you all the information with the story. Pay-per-view may sum it up in a video package or two, and you just have to watch the matches, which can be drawn out at times. And that's why I have a big problem with that. But of course, I have to discuss that in my WWE retrospective after this. So, that's a thing. Hell in a Cell reaction review. That was 41 minutes long. It was my first long video. And I found them hard to do. I still find them hard to do to this day. Even with these podcasts. They're unscripted, and I just have to keep talking, getting loads of information out. And I know that nobody's going to watch this full video, but they might see stuff that they like in it, they might skip through, and I'm going to probably leave a transcript at the bottom of this video just to get to certain points where I talk about certain things. But no, I think this has been alright so far. You know, comment below. No, my first long video, it went alright. That's what I remember. That's what I remember from that time. It went alright. The Hell in a Cell reaction and review 2014, it went alright. It was fine. So then I went back on to the NXTs and Red Dwarf reviews, and there were the things I was doing. I was like, okay, next month I'm going to do the next pay-per-view. Not really, never did it. So I never carried on with the storylines. And it's interesting to me, because they're the only full matches I've seen for a while in 2014. So things have changed dramatically in the landscape of WWE. Yeah, again, so there you go. I went through more episodes, and then 6 months ago, I don't know what the exact date was, in November around that time, after Finn Balor's debut, which has made a big impact on NXT again, and I was like, okay, Finn Balor, here's an Irish guy that I really looked up to. Well, I sort of did. I was sort of expecting him to come in, and then when he did, I was really more excited about NXT. Every week I would think, okay, he's going to have a match or something, but he was a guy for me that really kept me. Okay, the first few weeks, it was the whole new factor of watching NXT and doing reviews, but then when Finn Balor came in a few weeks into my reviews, I was like, okay, I love this, I'm going to keep doing this. And that's what kept me the whole way through. So Finn Balor was there, I was like, I'm going to keep doing these reviews of each week of NXT. So that all kept up. Then along came 6 months ago my Malcolm in the Middle pilot review. That all started from a show that I really haven't kept up to date with. I'm serious. Okay, I've seen the odd episode on TV. I was never a big fan of it. I was a big fan of it, sorry, but I just never watched all the episodes, or not most of them. So I did my Series 1 look at, and that was a big, it was only a 14 episode series or something, but I didn't actually finish them. That's a funny story, I'm going to talk about that now. So Malcolm Middle, a show I thought was interesting and needed to be talked about, and it hadn't been talked about on YouTube like a lot of the other shows here, so I started doing those reviews. I will tell you how far I got in. So I did episode 1, which is the pilot, and I really thought that was a great pilot, one of my favourite pilots of all time. So I kept on going. I did episode 2, Dress. I love all these episodes. They're one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Funny bit of trivia for you guys. The guy who wanted to direct, or did direct, the pilot of the Red Dwarf USA, which we all know was a big failure, went on to direct Red Dwarf USA. He went on to direct Malcolm in the Middle, or the writer of Malcolm in the Middle, or something like that. That's interesting. Maybe that's why I like it so much. It was such a wacky show here, just like Red Dwarf, and it reminded me in a sort of way. It was Americanized. It was, I hate to say, but maybe even funnier than Red Dwarf. And there's more of it to watch. So I did all of those episodes up till, oh god, I think I went back the next year and did, I went up to episode 12, which was Cheerleader. So there was a few more episodes I haven't done, and I still haven't done now. I'm gonna go in why I didn't do those. Oh, the new episodes that I haven't watched yet. There's a reason for that somewhere. Okay, so I've recently finished. I did last year, or the very start of this year. I watched all of Series 1 of Malcolm Middle. I went on. I watched a lot of episodes in Series 2, which I'm still in the process of watching. I just have to go back now and again and watch those. But the reason I have stopped, there is no reason. The thing is, the simple fact, I was doing other videos, and my interest, it didn't stop. I've watched the full Series 1, I told you. But I don't know. For me, I couldn't completely get that as interested as other things than I was at Malcolm in the Middle. So I found other things more interesting than doing the reviews of Malcolm in the Middle. you know what? If you want to comment below, or I might think about it in the future, over the summer, I might finish off those Malcolm Middle Series 1. I'll finish all those episodes. I might even do a talk about, the whole series of Series 1. So yeah, still watching that show, still on Season 2. I'll tell you how we do on that. Speaking of that, I'm going to be talking about what I watched and reviewed recently. Wow, okay. Keep on track. So those were all the things I was doing at the moment. I was doing, if you remember, I finished the Red Dwarf Series 1, of course. I was doing my NXTs each week, which is the main constant. But then the Malcolm Middles I kept doing, so they were fun to do. Then, 5 months ago, don't know the exact date, I'm not going to leave that. It was just before Christmas, I remember. It was a time, one night, I was sitting on the computer, and I thought I saw a lot of podcasts starting up, and I listened to a lot. When the Kids Go to Sleep is one of the best, but they stopped doing them. I don't know why. I think they're going to start them again. I've heard very recently the whole cast of that are going to do it again. Some fun stuff, which is a Red Dwarf. I've seen Red Dwarf podcast, I might listen to again soon. I've heard of those. I heard all of them, which is Series 1 and 2, and they just did every episode, which was good. And the main influence, which was Ear Biscuits, which is a Rhett and Link thing, which is one of my favourite channels. And they were doing those Ear Biscuits. So I liked all those podcasts and all the podcasts that were going on at the moment. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get my honest opinions on things that I haven't been doing recently. And my channel was up and running. I was about a month into it. So I was like, okay, my first podcast, I'm going to talk about whatever. So I did. I started off and I was like, okay, the amateur sort of way. I started talking about what I'm going to do, what I eventually don't do. But mainly, I was going to talk about, whatever I want to talk about, and myself and my opinions on things. So there you go. That was my first podcast. I put a random image in the background. I did my little segment on news, which I'm not that interested in, but I still do them anyway for no reason. May do at the end of this video, just to keep up to date stuff. So I found a way to get information that I wouldn't usually get in my other reviews. That was my main sort of, attraction. And also, I said uncut, uncensored. That was the one thing I remember from the first episode, was uncut, uncensored, whatever. I got that from WWE Raw back in the day. But I would just not cut it, have it straight go, like these sort of do. And that was my main, and I was gonna, keep on going with those. And I did, eventually. There was obviously a big distance between those videos. But that was the aim. The podcast would come up with a special sort of video, like this one, that I would do every so often, and they would be fun to do, still are, fun to do, and I would enjoy them. I would talk about stuff, and people would watch them, maybe, and that was the sort of thing. It was like a secure group of people who maybe watched it. I don't even know if anybody watched these, but I know some, okay, maybe my family do, that's embarrassing to say, but no, they were just me talking about stuff, and if you popped across them, you might hear just me rambling about stuff, but it's like, that's real me. So it was sort of like vlogging, but it was casual. It was as casual as a vlog, but it was a little bit more scripted than me just talking randomly. So there were just main things I was going to talk about. I'm going to talk about in this video, of course. I've been talking for a while. No, but really, I started this podcast. I did Christmas announcement. I was going to do loads of Christmas videos. It's only 2 weeks. Why did I make an announcement on that? I should do a summer announcement. But no, that was a weird Christmas announcement. It has a funny story. I did that video on my brother's computer, so we took really old software. It was just the old version of Windows Movie Maker. Yeah, I did that. Quick little video there, just talking about stuff. That was pretty much related to the podcast. Then we came up with my NXT TakeOver review. I remember that was the first. Oh, sorry, R-Evolution. Is it R-Evolution? Have I seen R-Evolution? Yeah, R-Evolution, right? TakeOver R-Evolution. That was the first NXT pay-per-view I watched. Yeah, that kept my interest for the whole way through. That was one of the best pay-per-views I've seen ever for WWE. And I know this was one of the first few takeovers. So of course they had R-Evolution. They had the next one being, I don't know. So they had TakeOver R-Evolution. They had, oh god, I've got really bad memory. I think I've done 2 since then. Well, they've had Unstoppable, haven't they? And they've had one more, which I can't remember the name of. Rival, Takeover Rival. So they're the three I have seen. They've all featured big changing moments in NXT's history, and they've all had a great. They've all had hooks and lines, and they've all had pretty quality matches on each, as I remember. So that was my first NXT pay-per-view review. My next was the Hot Podcast number 2. I actually talked about WWE as I will today in that one, which is funny enough. I talked about TLC, I think, but I talked about predictions, which I do now, where I, like, you know, sort of in the Wrestle Talks, I just talk about what I think was going to happen, and also, you know, looks at the cards for the big pay-per-views. So it was TLC, that episode. My next one was in the back in the middle. We had Prince Devitt documentary reaction and review. I think this is my biggest video ever. It just went big. It was me. One night I was already watching this Prince Devitt documentary. I saw it was in the newspaper, and then I went over and watched it, and it was good. It was good. I'm not going to say it's a brilliant documentary. It was just a short, hour long, quick snippet. If you don't know the history behind it, I kind of talked about it in that video, so I'm not going to mention it now. But no, I watched that. I did a quick reaction that very night. I posted it, right? It went huge. I even got notifications like, oh, this got over 100 views. Soon it was on 200 for a while, and then I stopped checking on it. I've come back right now, checking it recently, 804 views. That is big for me. No, seriously. That was my biggest video yet, and probably to date. So it did definitely boost my confidence. I don't know if you have done YouTube videos before, but when you see those views, and you see comments, I saw comments on that video, I'm like, seriously, people were like, oh, leave the link to check it out, so I left a link for the thing. It's gone now, but you can probably find it somewhere. I know you can, probably. But no, that got me interested in doing all those sort of reactions and reviews, which I haven't really done much of, but they were the big money grabbers for me. It was the ones that, money grabbers? No, view counts were the ones that people have never done before. So I was like, okay, I need to do original content like this, and stuff that nobody else has done, which I still believe I have done to this day, and that's all very well and good. But since then, I have been evolving, as you all know. So I'm going to continue on talking about stuff I've done. So the very next video after the Prince Dev documentary reaction and review of, as we all know, who is Finn Balor, and as he carried on, I kept on talking about him, obviously in my NXT reviews, but my next video was my third passion. We got NXT, Voodoo, Red Dwarf, and now Doctor Who. Yeah, I started watching the show I think a few months ago, but only a year or half ago. I've seen Series 6, Series 1. I've been off and on these new, the new series, of course, the last 10 years. If you don't know about it, there's the old series, which is like, got cancelled, and there was a load of old episodes. I've gotten two of those. I think I've shown them on my collection videos, but actually, this is another show that really is a good show. Science fiction, it's on Netflix now, but I do have, I think, 3 of the new Who series. I've got I've got 3, 4, and 5, which are 2, 3, and 4, which are the Day of Tent. So I'm going to watch those, hopefully on DVD, and see the special features. So I'm still, watching those, and that's one thing. Could you please close the door? Could you please close the goddamn door? Sorry. No, Doctor Who, big influence. Again, it doesn't really go into my work too much, but I have talked about it on occasions, yes. These are examples. Would be my first, which was Doctor Who Last Christmas preview. Funny enough, I never did a review of that. I had watched old specials, and this was the first. This was after Series 8, so I watched all of Series 8, which I ended up doing a overview of. It was a good series, and that's probably that's probably my longest video. This is probably gonna beat it. That was 1 hour 16 minutes long. Was my Series 8 overview. I'm gonna put my foot down and say that was one of the longest videos it took me to make. So I did my Last Christmas. I watched that. I never did a review of that. But my next video was my overview of Series 8, which is the first full. I'd say the first full. I could say series that I'd watched live, and I watched that all, and yeah, it was one of the best series I've ever seen of a TV show. Like, Well, actually not. No. It's the best series I've seen on Doctor Who ever, I have to say. But yeah, it did have a degree of difficulty. And I wanted to review every single episode, and I realised there was 12 episodes I have to go in depth on. But I did end up doing the whole thing. I looked at the overview at the end of it, and I ended up liking this. I ended up liking that, so that was good. That was a good, step up for me for long videos. Way 73 minutes long. Still trying to beat this with this video. My next one was another NXT review. Then Hub Podcast episode 3. And if you're wondering about going back to the Doctor Who thing, you sort of think about. I really haven't done much since then, considering towards Doctor Who. But the thing is, once the new series comes out, I'm definitely going to probably do a review of that, so you can expect that this year. But since then, I haven't been looking at it at the moment. But you see, when I do look at it, I'll probably talk that in a further podcast, and what I've been watching and stuff like that. So, yeah, I did that. Then I went on to another one, which was sort of failed. I've seen some guy do a dramatic reading, right? I thought I could do it. It's pretty bad. I actually did Machine Gunners, a book I haven't read before. It looked short, it looked easy. I ended up getting to chapters 6, part 2. So I did 2 parts for that chapter. It was a really long chapter. They were like 15 to 30 minute videos. I read a book. It was bad microphone. It's with the microphone I'm using right now. Imagine this, but it's close to my. And I'm doing a dramatic reading. It was bad. I'm really bad at reading, and it wasn't dramatic. And I probably wouldn't delete those videos, but then I wouldn't be at 100 videos, would I? So they're just my most regretful videos, because I'm not ever going to look at that book again or do reviews. Wasn't that interested in that book at all. I read books that I enjoy a lot. I don't read books that are slightly good, because I just can't be that. I can't stay for that long to read a book like that. So a lot of books I just, stop when I get the idea of what the book is about, or halfway through or whatever, because that's me. I'm just a bad reader, I have to say, to be honest. So my dramatic readings were very failed. Machine Gunners didn't even like that book at all. Yeah, I might do a funny review, and I'll review that book and make it really funny. Yeah, and I'll look back at that video and just say, big regret for me. But no, we moved on happily with the Christmas special, the Hub Podcast, one of my shortest podcasts, clocking in at 38 minutes. I didn't have anything much to talk about. It was like, the magic of Christmas. I really talked about that. Yes, I know. Very, I want to say generic stuff, but you can agree that was a bad idea. No, but the whole podcast was alright. I was sort of planning things I would do at Christmas. It was more personal podcast than a, pertaining to actual things podcast. But it was my life. I'm not going to do that in the future, guys, because that's pretty boring. But no, I did that for one video. It was an interesting experiment, I would say. So that was a good one. That was a good podcast. It was obviously not the schedule I followed today, which I started in my last one, which is New Beginnings. It was my old podcast, which I found a little bit less interesting than what I do now. No, seriously, I moved on with my NXT review. Then I had a Doctor Who Midnight review, which was an episode from Series 4, Episode 10. I watched this on Netflix, I remember, and I have it on DVD, but I just watched it on Netflix one night. It was dark, and it was freaking amazing. I usually don't talk about episodes of TV shows that, like, I really, really like, or ones that affect me deeply. That was one episode of any TV show, any episode whatsoever. This episode, I didn't even get it across in that review, I don't think. Literally, it affected me. I thought deeply about this episode of Doctor Who. I usually don't really think that deeply. I think I have fun watching Doctor Who, the chemistry between the characters and the enemies and all that stuff. But this episode, really, it was intense. I watched this about twice. It was so scary, right? I'm not even going to spoil it for you guys. You go watch it. Don't even check out my review. Check out the review after you've seen it, because you need to watch this episode of any TV of any sci-fi or anything really. It's a David Tennant one, and that was one of my favourite reviews to do. It was an enjoyable one to do because I really felt an intensity or a sort of, a passion towards that episode, you could say. So that was one of my favourites to do. Midnight, definitely go check that episode out of Doctor Who. You'll find it on Netflix, I assume, yes. I know I keep saying. Our next one was WWE 2014, A Year in Review. Review I probably didn't have the right to do since I didn't watch the pay-per-views. I watched like 2 that year. And I really had a boring way of looking at it. I went onto Wikipedia and I went on each pay-per-view and talked about each one. And I made 2 parts of it. It's actually, think of it, they're probably my longest. If you put them together, that would be my longest video. But no, I really don't think I'm going to do that again, considering the door just opened. But no, it was something that I didn't really have an opinion on that much because, of course, I didn't really watch any of the stuff. But this year, I think I have a bit more of a grasp on what's going on. So, but that year was a sort of bad year for wrestling, I have to say. 2014, not that much that I liked happened. I much preferred this year, to be honest. Okay, you had Daniel Bryan and all that stuff, and Seth Rollins splitting, but that was a rough year, I have to say, for other stuff. I mean, this year has been slightly better. It's been, improving. The product's been slightly improving. I dare I say it, coming up to the half-year point. Then I did a movie review for a 1996 Doctor Who review. Movie? It was good. Yeah, it was alright. Paul McGann, first time I've ever seen him as an actor. So he's Irish. He's quite good. Some more podcasts. I concluded that year in review with the second part, and then suddenly I came back with more dramatic readings, really. So I went to chapter 9 of the dramatic readings. I really kept this on, didn't I? And there was like 20 chapters in that book. I got to chapter 9, which is pretty good going for me. Oh my, I'm gonna, they look worst. Imagine I made 9 reviews for those, and I don't even like that thing. Dramatic readings, sorry. In the meantime, I kept up my extra reviews. Things were developing nicely in NXT. As I'll probably talk about later. Oh yeah, the next video was from 4 months ago. Got 19 views. It was the WWE Network First Reaction. This episode was one of the episodes that really showed. I used a video camera for this one, and I had it out here. I was on the computer, and I had got the WWE Network for that month. It was in February, so I had the network for that month. I watched a lot of stuff on the network, and that was me. I tried to click on a video, but I realized that after I did the review, that I couldn't actually play videos because it was something to do with Google Chrome at the time. So I had to choose Mozilla Firefox, and then I actually could play videos, but it was after I did the review. So I ended up using the movie camera. It's not the greatest movie camera, you can tell from the video. It's quite amateur, but I really like the network, so I did that review. There are sort of reviews that come out once and again, and they're just fun, spontaneous video camera ones that you might see me once and now and again. Next we had the WWE Network review and reaction. Still believe in what I said in that video. Still love the network, but it needs something. It needs something else in it. I have to think. They really need to add something else to this. I don't know, but they're doing Tough Enough this year. And funny enough, my next video was a Tough Enough season 1 review, which I watched on the network exclusively. They're adding Tough Enough. They're doing more. I'm really jealous, but they're doing actual events on the network, for actual wrestling. It's exclusive on the network. And I could have watched those, but I only got it for February. So, other stuff is happening now. I'm not even keeping in touch with. Royal Rumble 2015 review. A fun Royal Rumble. That's the only thing I have to describe it, because I definitely do remember this Royal Rumble being a letdown. A letdown, yes. The main event was perfect. The main event, I mean the triple threat, which is Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and is it Roman Reigns? Yes. Give me some of that. Or John Cena, wasn't it? But Roman Reigns came close to winning that time. I was scared. I'm sorry, he did, didn't he? Oh yeah, he did. I was scared though, because the final four men, it was just crap. You knew that Roman Reigns was getting, so you don't want a surprise there, obviously. But yes, I knew that does go again into what I'm going to talk about in WWE retrospective for this year. So that's pretty much the only main thing I'm going to talk about this year in this podcast, I should say. Yeah. So next video I did was a podcast number 6. One of my favorite or least favorite, I can't think. Least favorite, best, memorable podcast I've done, talking about Roman Reigns, WWE, and my opinion at the time, which was skewed. I hated his push at the time. Still sort of regret him getting that push. No, he's not ready for it yet. Even now, like he's much better like aligning himself with like Dean Ambrose and having that sort of face, because he's kind of a face when he's with Dean Ambrose. But you can't hate Dean Ambrose. So when he's aligned on, that was good. But at this time, this was a rocky time in WWE. Of course, this is leading up to WrestleMania 31, which means it just got a lot better from there on. So, yeah, I thought that Roman Reigns sucked. It's basically, I could have just titled the video, I think Roman Reigns sucks, and that would have been a good video, or it would have been the subject matter in the whole video. It's just condensed down to, I thought Roman Reigns sucked. 5 words. Next, I can move on from that. I did 2 episodes of Monday Night Raw reviewing. I think this is when I had the WWE Network. I guess I'll watch those. I don't know if where else you can find them. Very old episodes. Fun. I watched like 3 or 4 of those. But again, it was 1993. It wasn't the greatest. I still have a problem though. They had the whole year of 1993 in Raws, right? But the Attitude Era, they don't even have half of that Attitude Era. You know, 1997, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. They don't even have that many episodes from those years, which is actually a big pull off for me, because I really wanted to see those episodes. You know, the Attitude Era. It's what everyone wants to see. And they just have 1993, and it's a year of Yokozuna. You know, Lex Luger was revealed in SummerSlam, or sorry, in Royal Rumble. I watched the full Royal Rumble. I didn't do a review of it though. Fun fact. I can't remember who won that year. It was Ric Flair, wasn't it? It must have been. But they did get that was a good Royal Rumble, I have to say. It was the Egyptian WrestleMania build-up. I remember that. I do remember the Egyptian bit. It was funny. I should do a commentary on that one and upload it on like some other channel on like Daily Motion or something, so I can actually get away with the copyright for that. But that was funny. So I might, you never know, I might do a commentary of that, or just a review of that, because, you know, like a retrospective review of that, looking back at Royal Rumble 1993. Okay. St. Patrick's Day 2015. That got a comment from Simpsons reviewer, who I like. You know, he's a good guy. He's obviously Irish, as you can tell. St. Patrick's Day 2015. Yeah, he commented on that, or liked that, I think. So that was good. That was just a spontaneous St. Patrick's Day video. Next, I had WrestleMania 31 predictions. I believe I got a lot of these wrong. I didn't get that. Obviously, the main event I got wrong. But no, it's interesting to check if I got any of those right. So the review was actually only 18 minutes for WrestleMania 31. That's a very short review, and of course, I did get comments on that from another guy who likes wrestling on YouTube. But yeah, I talked about him in my last podcast. But no, I was only 18 minutes long. What was I talking about? I wasn't talking about much in that. It was a quick review of WrestleMania 31. Unfortunately, it was only quick. But I pretty much got across my own thoughts. They may have changed in the meantime from that. Obviously, I'm going to talk about that in the retrospective. Respective? No. After that, I moved on. I made an April Fool's joke. RIP Michael Cole has passed away. Remember, guys, it's not true. He didn't pass away. That was an April Fool's joke. It got 60 views. It was a mean joke, okay? I might take the video off sometime, but I probably won't. I'll just retitle it Michael Cole joke, and maybe people will respect that. After this video, the Michael Cole video, I did another one back then, which was a Wrestling Isn't Wrestling reaction, which got a good 404 views, so that's probably my second most viewed video. Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, it's a funny YouTube video, go check it out. Highly recommend it. It's, I wouldn't say hilarious, it's a spoof of wrestling. I've never seen it. Very good high production values, but I've never seen it more good than what they did in that video. Quite accurate actually, so go check it out. You know, the guy's favourite wrestler is Triple H. But okay, it's a good video. It's a good video. I like it. Okay, moving on. I'm going to talk about what I did straight after the Michael Cole. I made a new TV Hub official one intro, which I'm just gonna, funnily enough, watch back right here. So I'm just gonna click on this. You'll be able to hear it, but okay, I'll watch it now. Okay, so that was an intro I plan to use on most of my videos. It would just go at the beginning and it'd be easily like that. The one I do for these podcasts are quite similar to that, but I started off with that intro. I was actually quite proud of it. It was a short little clip of videos I've done. That was weird. And then it had a two-ish one going towards the camera, and then that was it. It was good. It was good. Yeah, so I did actually end up using that for a number of other videos. Got it started again. I did use it for another videos, including this video that I'm looking at right now. It was a fun one to make actually, and it was quite good. Yeah, like, I'm using sort of free music. I'm trying out lots of music. I don't know what's best. There's just a certain website I use for that stuff, so it doesn't, you know, get attacked for royalties or whatever, or taken off, because YouTube are the most strict when it comes to music. Actually, I did have a case back when, a few videos back, when one of mine had a little bit of warning on it. One of the bands that must have got offended or something by the music I used, but they ended up reclaiming that. But no, because I did actually find it on the royalty-free music, so it was kind of a weird thing. Right, next I went and did some more Red Dwarf reviews, as I said. I did Camille, I did Thanks for the Memory, and I did another one, Lemons from Series 10. I did watch Series 10 live, actually. That was good, back in 2012, I believe. It was one of the funniest. You know, they actually really played attention with that season. It was something else. Okay, maybe the storylines were great, but I found it was completely character based, really, and it did actually add something to the characters that we didn't see before. Right, like as opposed to Series 9, which was, I'll get to that series. Yeah, I did a quick room tour with my phone, I believe. That was just a quick little tryout on the phone. I did 2 NXT reviews. I did miss a few NXT reviews up at this point. Around this time, I was busy at school, obviously, exams and all that. So I did miss a few of those NXTs. And then I started this Wrestle Talks, just some stuff I've missed. I did a Batman, the movie review. I did in 1989. I have watched the first 4 original Batmans. That, by far, is probably my second favourite. Actually, I think I might do a review of Batman 2. We're not going to do the other ones. But Batman Returns is a classic. I'd say almost better than the first. I mean, when it comes to sequels, Batman had a good sequel for the original. Not the original from 1966, but, you know, that was Batman Returns was something else. I might talk about that soon. It was good. It was good. I'm not saying it was bad or anything, but yeah. Then I did my DVD collection, 25th of 4/15. Hasn't changed since then, one spot. So that's going to be exactly the same. I just probably added some DVDs from downstairs up there. You should check out my Blu-ray. His collection is pretty intensely good. I haven't shown you that yet, but it's my brother's, and he collects loads of Blu-rays, and it's all downstairs in the projector room. Yeah, we have a projector room. Oh my god! But there's a good collection of them there, so they're good. Yeah. Right, next up, I had the Hub Podcast 007 New Beginnings, the one you've seen. That was a really good format. I'm not using it for this one. This one's going to be a special podcast. And now we're the normal format. So I'm trying out that normal format, which is going to be what you've seen in 007, New Beginnings. That was the normal format I was trying out. So, again, I'm trying out different things. Hopefully this special I'm doing at the moment, right, it's not going to feature any of the other stuff I've had in 007. It's not going to be the base. This is going to be a completely me talking to you sort of experience. But it's going to, as you've seen already in this one, I'm just completely off the cuff. Yeah, I've had breaks and stuff because it looks exactly the same, doesn't it, at the back end? But I've been filming for well over 2 hours for this, so yeah, I've had dinner in the meantime and stuff like that. But I'm still wearing the same thing, and the lighting is pretty much the same because it's summer. So it's not much of a difference, but I think that it sort of sets a casual tone. I know that the other podcasts are a little bit more organised. This feels a little bit more me talking to you sort of deal. It's not any special features added on. It's a complete special, but it's not specially featured. That makes no sense. Okay, moving on. What was I talking about? Yeah, that's all the recent stuff I've done. So, of course, the start of the Wrestle Talks, my first 1, 2, and 3, my Remembering Red Dwarf, which I have mentioned. I talked about Series 11 and 12 being announced. That was a big surprise, really, and I think that's around the time of Dimension Jump, which is the sort of special they've got for Red Dwarf. And they have this whole thing, the whole Series 11 and 12 announcement. It was completely out of the blue. I knew they were writing for Series 11. I never knew Series 12 was going to come out. And they're 2016, 2017. I think. Yes. So 2016 is going to be a big year for all that Red Dwarf stuff. And that is why I'm doing all these Red Dwarfs. Sort of one of the reasons why I'm doing a lot of these Red Dwarf stuff now when I am doing it. Okay, so I did Red Dwarf Lemons from Season 10, which is a very recent episode. Well, recent enough. Red Dwarf, 3 years ago. Okay, then I said the Home Critic is boring. I think that was one of the most recent things, and of course my most recent video, apart from this one, is Wrestle Talk number 3, and yeah, that's it. That's my history of my channel. Every video I've done I've pretty much mentioned above. The unimportant ones and the ones that I thought were bad, let's forget those, because the good moments and the good memories came from the other videos that I made. And you know, everything I do, it's something at least that I enjoy. It's something at least new. So even the stuff I don't enjoy, it's stuff that I've done for a reason, or in order to make something new. If I don't like it, then I won't do it again. Such as, of course, the dramatic readings. Now, other stuff that's not as popular, I won't stop that. It's not that, okay, so this video has a bit more views than this, or these are the popular videos, I'm going to try to do more like this. I do think of that, but I do like to do what I want to do. So it's more me than the audience. Like, you guys do have an effect on what I do, but it's a bigger ratio of me than you. You know, I have a more input into myself than I have more input into my channel than you do. Just to let you know. I'm not gonna say that though, because if people do actually, give me input, I will have that input put in. It's just that, at the moment, I'm relying on myself, really. So that's the main thing. Being a small YouTuber, of course, as I am, I just do this sort of thing. The Hub Critic. Now, the thing about it, because I have to revolve back to this topic, which is the Hub Critic. That is my new name, right? Yeah, that is a simply fact that, okay, so it was TV official one at the start, right? I think that's unique. And the hub is sort of, this is the hub for what I think is TV and stuff. But TV doesn't really actually describe it. So I was like, okay, that's going to limit me. If I call it TV, I'm going to have to talk about TV, and that's not describing it too well. Official one, like, yes, I am official. I try to be official, but that's pretentious. And one, I don't like having numbers in my name. So the whole name was sort of, I scrap this name. I want to keep a bit of my past though, so I said Hub, I'll keep that. And I'm trying to think of something. Okay, what I really like on YouTube that I've been watching a lot recently, and the one thing I can think of was the Nostalgia Critic. And the Nostalgia Critic has inspired a lot of other people, and I think that that's a really good idea because he's one of the most inspiring YouTubers I know, and he has some of the best videos pertaining to like movies and stuff. He does a lot of other stuff at the moment now, so he's been good. So I decided, you know what, gonna call myself the critic, and then Hub in the middle. It's a work in progress name, so it may not be the same this time next month, this time next year. It could be. It may as well will be, because you know I'm lazy. I'm not gonna change the name again in a very short amount of time. It's a trial name. It's a trial name. So and then Hub is in capitals. I don't know why it's in capitals. To be honest, it was in capitals in the Hub TV Hub official one. I think. Does it need to be in capitals? Hub. I don't know. Just don't explain that one. Yeah, and I've kind of spaced it out as well. So it's like an actual thing, like the Hub Critic. And does it make any sense? No, I wasn't aiming for it to make sense. It's a name, okay? It doesn't have to make that much sense. But there you go. That is the history of my channel. Now, you think that video would just end right now, but of course I was going to talk about the other WWE stuff. I think I might talk about that for like 20 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, whatever it's going to be. You know, relating to all of my channel, it's probably the biggest influence on my channel. It's kept it structured together pertaining to NXT. It has influenced all walks of life for me. If you don't know, I watch it pretty much videos about WWE every single day on YouTube on my phone, really. But on computer, yeah, I would. On this thing down there, that's the computer. I do keep in touch a lot, and you know, I know a friend who, you know, also likes WWE, so it's good. It's a good thing. I don't know what I was going to talk about, was I? Yeah, WWE has been a year. I've done about. I'm going to check this actually right now. So I've done a few playlists. You can check them out. One of them being NXT reviews. I've done 23 NXT reviews, mostly every week. So that's, think of it, 23 weeks, give or take that amount of time since I've sort of skipped some. And there's also the extra 3 Wrestle Talk videos, which feature basically they feature the next 3 weeks. So let's say 25 weeks, give or take. That's a good proportion of the year. So if I make it to a full year, that's going to be pretty amazing. And of course, there'll be another spectacular video for the yearly. I'll say it won't be the same thing. I'll think of something new to do for the year anniversary. And who knows how many subscribers I could have by then, but that's something else to talk about. Red Dwarf reviews, I've done 9, right? So that's good, it's good. But anyway, we're talking about wrestling. So the NXT reviews, I've done 2 WWE 1993 reviews, which of course the Raws. I'm actually excited to go back and look at those because interesting enough. I've done, of course, a few specials, and they're the WWE pay-per-view predictions and reviews. So I've done Hell in a Cell, you know, a year in review. I've done Fastlane, I've done Royal Rumble, I've done WrestleMania predictions, and then review. Yeah, basically enough. I'm not planning to do any more pay-per-views in the meantime. I don't even know if you're ever going to watch those pay-per-views again. Yeah, I might watch like a match here or there from Elimination Chamber. Money in the Bank, I was planning to watch the whole pay-per-view, but I feel like I should do that for enjoyment. Like, I don't really want to talk about it for you guys. I might talk about it a little bit in my next Wrestle Talk, yeah. But I'm not going to do a full comprehensive view of those. So that's one thing that if you learn anything from this video, stuff I will be doing in the future, I won't be doing that. So it's one thing I'm sort of straying away from. I forget what I was talking about in this video. Wait, one sec, just a little bit of unprofessionalism here. Oh yes, I was going to talk about what I was watching. No, my real thoughts on WWE. I'm going to basically headline this section, real thoughts on WWE. So for the next few minutes, I'll basically say, okay, these are my real thoughts on what I'm doing. Okay, Wrestle Talks have given me the privilege of giving real thoughts, as I've given in my last 3. They've all talked about NXT, mainly, rumours and stuff like that. At the moment, I have to tell you that I really like WWE, and I mean NXT. I'm not. When I say, oh yeah, WWE is going good at the moment, I'm really. It's about NXT. You know, the main product that I've been seeing is, it's been constantly here. Okay, it's been here. NXT's, fluctuating around here. I know they've had good episodes of Raw, of course, after WrestleMania Raw, a few cool Raws and stuff like that. They really are following a formula. I think they are. I mean, they've always been doing that for the past how many years. But there has been a couple of weeks now that I felt that there's some big changes happening here. Now, I know this sounds kind of crazy and stuff. I'm not going to make a whole video about this or on Wrestle Talk or something. But I really wanted to keep it to the podcast because it's some thoughts that, might not be what I think in a few weeks from now. So, and stuff that's not too... It's a bit personal, and I really feel like it should be talked about here. So, yeah, WWE, all the transfers of wrestlers up to the main roster from NXT, we give 5 here, I'll tell you about. Paige, of course, she's been here for a while. She's a headline. She's a household name. Even E. Marie, you can't even talk about her. She's from Total Divas. Okay, Total Divas. They're using that as a platform. That seems like some sort of... Okay, that's another whole other topic, but... the NXT, it's been a good platform to raise the levels, right? And I have a feeling that it's gonna be it's a good thing for them, because WWE are realizing, just now, they're realizing, okay, we are gonna get a lot of new people coming up. Okay, so we got the 3 members of the field. They're doing a lot on the main roster, right? Where did they come from? Mostly from NXT. So they're thinking, okay, at the moment we're having a big transfer of new wrestlers up, but we also need a future from somewhere. So they're thinking NXT, you're the main source of what we do. We're no longer getting independent wrestlers, putting them up to NXT or WWE. Sorry. So John Cena from OVW, all the way up there. A lot of people have come from OVW, by the way. I think that, and yeah, so NXT, of course, is a great, suitable platform for the moving. And there's a lot of new stars that they are bringing from the independents. And of course, everyone's complaining. Independents, they're being grabbed up at the moment really fast, as well as NXT people are being brought to the main roster. And it's about the past few weeks, that we've seen a lot of change. Of course, Kevin Owens being the sort of bearer for that. We thought Neville was a big impact. Owens is the man, okay? He's got the... He is... Yeah, I think I've talked about my last Wrestle Talk. But anyway, Owens, he's the man. Anyway, so... Really, I think NXT is the thing, and I can't even describe it that much. You're going to have to go check out what I think of it. It's basically what a lot of people think about it. It's hyped, It makes sense. It's a great way to... I don't know. It's a great talent bringer, and it's also... It has its own sort of appeal that I don't think the main roster gives. It's a short hour long each week. You don't have to be hardcore, but the hardcore fans like that product as well. It's something that it's detached from the main roster, yet, okay, NXT has been mixing with the main roster, but the main roster hasn't really done they have been doing the opposite, right? They've been sort of doing this, right? It's only becoming more like that and more like this, where they're more interconnected than ever. But NXT is its own thing. It feels different. It feels like an escape from normal WWE. And it's becoming not just a developmental brand, but a brand in itself. And that's something that some people don't get. But I know that people who are thinking ahead are thinking, okay, this has got to be something more than just developmental. It's its own thing. Because obviously pay-per-views and stuff like this, they're all getting bigger and better. And I've got the big Japan thing coming up in July, the start of July. It's too much for some to think of, but there's the future. There is the future, but it's also the supply to the main roster. And of course, this is going to mean a lot of independent wrestlers are being snapped up. I know that only the weak are going to be left, really. I don't know. But it's gonna mean the death for a bit of independent, and that's not a good thing. If you think about it, independent wrestling is its own thing, and if it's becoming less, it seems to be a little bit underused. It seems to be a little bit underappreciated for a lot of mainstream fans, but a lot of them are going to look for the opportunity on the main roster now that there's more opportunity to do so, which is mean it's gonna decline. I just don't can see a particularly strong future for the independent wrestling. I don't want to say that, but it's something that has to be spoken about. So that's my opinion. I think that in short, WWE are changing the game as they always do. They're always changing the game, and there's no one else to do it, so they have to do it. Unfortunately, they do. I mean, independent wrestling is going to have to do something, and TNA, of course, was the one to pioneer that sort of, I don't know, class of wrestling. I would say that, but TNA is nope. TNA is dying a slow death, I can tell you that. I was going to talk about one other thing. Oh yeah, Tough Enough, right? Tough Enough. Okay, that's good. Tough Enough is coming back, of course, and I don't know when that's certainly coming, but it's coming. And just to relate this back to stuff I've been talking about, I've done a Tough Enough review on my channel a long while back when I had the network. It's a new sort of way for WWE to capitalize on these indie wrestlers, but I'm not sure where they're bringing the wrestlers from. I don't know any of that news. Also, I have to say that, is it changing the game? Yes, it could be. Could as well be a failed product. It could as well be something that, like Total Divas, actually makes an impact on the mainstream, I would say, if you could call it mainstream. Anything else apart from wrestling, it's transcending the boundaries. If it's sort of shown on TV programs over here, people are seeing it, they're interested in this stuff, but they're not interested in wrestling, but they get caught up in this, and they see, okay, I like this guy, and he's in wrestling, I should go, it's still doing that. It's been doing that for 10 years, but Tough Enough. But Tough Enough, I think it's a good thing to bring it back. A lot of new programming, it's all to do with WWE, right? Say it's all to do with the money. It's not to do with anything else. But just say they're not doing it as a way to gain an audience, they're just doing it for money. It's still going to relate back to they might get an audience for that from the network. Their focus is the network, right? But all these other things have a direct influence on the network, okay? And the main product, the main event, you could say, but they all intertwine in some way that I can't really understand. I can't explain in this one video. I know it's a podcast, I can talk about anything I want. My real opinions, these are just speculations and stuff. But Tough Enough is quite like NXT in what it's innovating and stuff. It depends how they do and Tough Enough, but we know WWE, NXT is for a certain even more important. And that's why I watch NXT. Does that make any sense? No? Okay. Yeah, but don't be. You're alright. You're at the moment. I'll tell you if it's getting worse, getting better. Wrestle Talk. Stay tuned. That's just a plug-in for Wrestle Talk. Oh my god. Why are you doing this? Okay, before we get too much tied in with that sort of stuff, how about we just check on the time of this video? It's like 1:18 or something at the moment. If you could check the time there. 1:18, am I right? Am I right by saying that? Does that mean I have the longest video on my channel yet? Go check over the Doctor Who video. I want to see how long that was, if I can find it. Obviously my last podcast was like an hour long. This one coming in at like nearly 1:20. No, I really don't care that much about these. I'm just gonna go check that out. Where did I put that? Okay, I made it quite recently. I didn't make it too recently though, so that makes no sense. It was 1:16, so I've already beaten that. The longest video. Well, hey, you could say that it was shorter than the other boring old year in review. That was a boring video. This is actually, I feel like, a good video for one. So yeah, so I'm gonna go one last topic, and then I'm gonna overview this video. I'm gonna end it then. Okay. one last topic. How about I just talk about my life, in general. It's a podcast, we can do whatever we want. What have I been watching, playing, doing in the past month? Okay, let's talk about watching. Let's see, what have I been watching? Tone down the video here, make it a little less memorable, a little more. Okay, I've been watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, I'm on episode 7 of series 1. It's a good, it feels a bit cool going back to it, because I've seen it a year ago or something. So, I'm still on series 1, I'll make it a series 2 and see what I think of it then. But I really haven't made it past series 2, so that's interesting. Movies, recently, they give or take. Obviously, Mad Max, and that was a good, you haven't even heard of me talking about that. But Mad Max, Fury Road, give me a good 2 thumbs up for that one. Yes, it's an experience in itself. I love things that give me a great experience. I was one of them. It was its own, I feel like it was detached from its own Mad Max. Okay, Mad Max brought the crowd in, but it's its own experience, unlike any other Mad Max, I believe. Even though I haven't even seen Mad Max. I'm gonna probably watch that tonight or something. What have I watched? I've watched San Andreas. You can skip. But it was funny. Okay. You can skip. The Big Lebowski. I've watched that this month, during my summer break. Believe it or not, I haven't even seen that many movies this summer. Yeah, I have mixed feelings on that one. I might talk about it in the future. Big Lebowski, yeah, it's a cult classic. Okay, you can't deny it. It's got some It's got some cultness in it. So, what else? Okay, TV show wise, I've finished season 2 of The Office. It was a superb season. It was exactly like season 1, except longer and more fleshed out characters. So it's amazing. It's the best show I've seen. Best comedy I've seen in the past year, I dare say. The Office US I'm talking about, of course, not the English Office. I haven't really seen that, but don't plan on seeing that. So yeah, I'm on season 3 of that now, so I'm excited to start watching that some more. On TV, the Eurovision was on, 2015, I want to talk about that. But this past month, really, if I'm going to go back into this past month, I have seen the Eurovision. Okay, shut up. Okay, I've seen it, okay. I know people are going to say that, shut up. I know, stop judging me, okay. Right, I'll wait till this video is 90 minutes long, and then I might end it on that note. But I have been, they're the main things. On the summer, I started, they're the things I've been watching, really. So yeah, it's been a pretty uneventful month for that. For reading, I've been reading 2 books. So The Well of Ascension, which is the second book in the Mistborn series, a great series. Brandon Sanderson is my favourite author at the moment. He delivers on such expectations that I've been expecting, and The Well of Ascension looks to be better than the first one, The Hair of Ages. The Hair of Ages is a great starting point for the Mistborn trilogy, and it's a lovely series. Fantasy, of course, epically done, and the elemency ability, the magical aspect really keeps you interested. If you know what I mean, you're gonna see it, and it's unlike any other it's unlike any other take on magic I've ever seen. So yeah, I've read the first one, I'm on the second one. I'm about 100 pages into it. So there again, back in the bad, me being a bad reader, of course, I just speculated. I just told you earlier on. And I've also been reading another book, which is City of Bones. So it's been alright. And it's a funny book. I'm on page 100 of that as well. Yeah, I went to the library today. I got 2 books, so graphic novels. I've been reading. Yeah, I've got some comics at home. I'll show my comic collection in a future video. Yeah, I just get those cool comic books. I haven't even finished those. Bad. And I got the graphic novels as well from the library for a while. So yeah, I'm gonna read those first, and then hopefully I'll read the books as well by next month. That's how bad I am already. I know. So yeah, that's what I've been playing, or watching, reading, and now what I've been playing. Okay, I played a bit of NBA with my brother yesterday. Yeah, this is just really boring. NBA 2K13. I got it before 2K14 came out, unfortunately. but it was cheap, so it was alright. It was a good deal on the Xbox 360. PS4, I played The Last of Us. I played that. I know there's one game I played. Okay, I've played W2K15. I've done a lot of universe modes. I've been back into that. It's great. It's good. I like some of the new things they've done. I don't like some of the other things they've done. It's evenly, I hate this stuff, but I also like the new stuff. So it's come across as a meh game. You know, I would have liked it better if there had been some changes, but it's a little bit, I don't know, in some aspects it's more complicated than all the other games, which I like, but it has something missing. I can't quite put my finger on it. It's something that, I don't know, I think W2K14 did it better, but yeah, it's a mixed game. I know there's something I should remember I've been doing. Oh yeah, Batman, Arkham City. So yeah, I might get the new game when it comes out, but I'm literally like 6% into this game, so I haven't been playing it recently. I have been playing it slightly recently, last week. Yeah, it's good. I can confirm that. You know, I haven't played Batman Arkham City, Asylum, sorry, but I've played City, and I know Night is coming out soon, which means, you know, I'd probably look at it. That means that is my games I've played. Yeah, and also, you know, some other stuff. Right, and just like that, I'm gonna sum up this video. It's been a good one. Thank you guys so much on all the support you've been giving me recently. 100 videos, something I never thought I'd ever reach. And yes, I've done it. Sorry, I just went off that topic there, but that's really, you know, stuff for another video. Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing recently, and it's been a journey in itself, and I've learned stuff, and I've learned, you know, I've had great memories. That's the most important thing. The memories have been what's worth it, you know? The memories of making the videos, the memories of watching the videos, and stuff like that, and I've never thought I'd be, I don't know, I never thought I'd get this far, so I'm just proud of getting that far. I'm pretty proud of you guys. Most importantly, thank you so much for being here, and also, this is looking forward to the next 100. Make sure to like this video, comment below anything you think about this video, anything you want to talk about. I don't care. It's free to you to decide what you want to do. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and all the things to support me. Once again, I love you guys, and see you all next time. Thanks for watching the podcast.